Handsome Harry. Those early years of getting Luke Records and Two Live Crew off the ground, it was nonstop work, work, work. One day rolling into the next, making deals, driving that van from college town to college town, doing shows, knocking down groupies, back at the hotel, trying to keep track of all my money and what to do with it. By the time we opened the Pac Jam 2, Liberty City had gone crazy. It become a psycho ward. The whole city had been taken over by cocaine smugglers and Cuban refugees. It was the time of the cocaine cowboys. Cuban and Colombian cartels shooting up the streets like it was the wild fucking West. Mass shootings and gangland executions were on the 5 o'clock news every goddamn night. Miami had the highest murder rate in the country by a wide margin for years. There were so many bodies in the Miami morgue that the coroner had to line up refrigerated trucks to hold the overflow. In the year after the Mariel boat lift, gun sales in Dade County went up by 50%. Everybody was either about to kill somebody or worried about getting killed themselves. The white folks in Miami, most of them just left. They moved to the suburbs out in Broward. The only ones that stayed were holed up in gated communities on Miami Beach or in Coral Gables. But the blacks in Overtown and Liberty City, they were stuck. They couldn't afford to get out of the crossfire.
Now, what do you think about what you just read there?
Well, I wasn't around in that time, but I've read a lot of books and heard a lot of stories, and it's a lot of truth to it. Like, those were the real deal days. Like, shit was real back there.
Now, how do you feel about those same places that are mentioned nowadays? What's it like nowadays?
Pretty much the same. Liberty City, Overtown, still the hood. Broward, a little bit of, Broward has its hoods too.
But what about the crime and the drugs? Is that pretty much still here, gone?
It's still here. I mean, the drugs is not as big as it was. Not as much drugs out there as it was. Now they got new stuff. They're just coming up with all type of shit.
What about the crime? You know, they're talking about
the murders and
stuff,
things like that. That's still there. It's definitely still there.
So even though this was written, this was written recently, obviously, by Uncle Luke.
But about years ago.
Right.
It pretty much is still the same.
Now, in your opinion, what do you think could be done to change that?
It's kind of hard. That would take like I don't know. That's hard. That's like a whole, everybody has to come together as the whole world and just figure it all out. That's hard.